Chosen one, listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you is not just another message, it's a divine announcement. If you're here right now, it's not by coincidence. You were guided, drawn, summoned by something greater than yourself. God has been aligning people, places, and timing to bring you to this exact moment. And now that you're here, everything is about to shift. You're standing at the threshold between what was and what's about to be, and what's coming is nothing short of miraculous. You're no longer living in the energy of delay. You're stepping into divine acceleration. This is the moment where your waiting turns into walking, your hoping becomes having, and your preparation meets manifestation. Feel it, because your spirit already knows. This is your time. The change you've been sensing, it's not in your imagination. It's the beginning of everything you've prayed for starting to take form in the physical realm. But this kind of breakthrough isn't passive. It's activated through obedience, readiness, and bold, faith-filled action. Before we dive deeper into this sacred message, I want to take a moment to give thanks to every one of you who has supported this mission through super thanks. I see you, I honor you, and I am genuinely grateful for you. Your generosity helps keep this message flowing into the lives of other chosen ones across the world. And even if you haven't given financially, your presence here, your open heart, your faith, and your willingness to receive truth, that alone is a gift. Whether you donate or not, please know that you are deeply appreciated. Now, as you prepare to receive this transmission, I invite you to type 999 in the comments. That number represents completion, transition, and divine fulfillment. It's a signal to the universe that you're ready to unlock what's next. If you're truly aligned, you'll stay with me until the very end. And if you do, your life will never be the same. Because this is more than a message. This is a divine moment, your moment. Let's begin. God's chosen ones, it's time to tell you everything God has decided. Chosen one, have you ever felt a divine pull so strong it shook the foundation of your being, yet you couldn't explain it to anyone around you? That stirring inside your soul, that quiet but persistent whisper, wasn't just a feeling. It was a holy signal. And now, God's voice is no longer whispering, it's thundering. The time has come. You are no longer in waiting. You are standing at the edge of a divine appointment, and heaven has already made the decision. It is your time to rise. You've carried a question in your heart for years. Is there more to this life than just surviving? That question wasn't born from discontent. It was born from destiny. God has been watching through every heartbreak, every silence, every restless night where you questioned your worth and your path. And now, the heavens are parting to give you a clear answer. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." This is that time. This is that purpose. And you, chosen one, are stepping into the season that will shift not just your reality, but your identity. Look at the life of Jim Carrey. Beneath the laughter, his journey was marked by deep spiritual hunger and devastating lows, poverty, depression, isolation. But he once wrote himself a check for $10 million when he was still a struggling actor, believing that someday he'd be ready to cash it. That belief, that inner knowing, was not mere ambition, it was alignment. What if your soul has also been holding a vision, a check from heaven, waiting for you to finally believe that now is the time to cash it? Isaiah 43:19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God isn't waiting to act. He's already moving. The shift has already begun. But the question remains, Will you move with him? Will you perceive the new thing rising within you? Or will you continue to cling to an identity that no longer serves your divine assignment? For too long, you've stared at the walls around you, thinking they were permanent. But what if they were only there to keep others out, while God built you in secret? Like a seed buried beneath the soil, your growth has been hidden. But chosen one, the sprouting has begun. The soil is breaking. You are coming into the light. Romans 13:11 says, "The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed." This isn't the time to hesitate or second guess. Your breakthrough is not pending, it's present. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you're destined to be is your willingness to say yes to the call. God isn't asking for perfection, he's asking for permission. Will you let him do the impossible through you? Think of Shania Twain, who lost her parents as a teenager and had to raise her siblings alone, putting her own dreams on hold. She questioned her path, faced years of silence, but her voice was being prepared for a sound the world hadn't yet heard. And when the time came, she didn't just sing, she changed the sound of country music. You too are being refined for a role only you can play, and the silence wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. You may ask, how do I know if I'm ready? But the truth is, readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And God wouldn't be telling you it's time if you weren't prepared for what's ahead. Philippians 1:6 promises, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." If he started something in you, and he did, he will finish it. Your only job is to surrender to the unfolding. There's a reason you felt like an outsider in your own story. It's because your old life was too small for the version of you that's about to emerge. The questions that once haunted you, why is my path so different? Why don't I fit in? Are about to be answered, not with explanations, but with elevation. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to lead, to illuminate, to awaken the sleeping giants within others by first awakening yourself. John 8:32 proclaims, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And this is the moment the truth arrives, not as a theory, but as a living, breathing reality that floods your being with clarity, peace, and divine confidence. That confusion you've lived with for so long, it wasn't who you are. It was the fog before the unveiling. Consider the life of Trevor Noah, born under apartheid in South Africa to a black mother and white father. His very existence was illegal, but what the world called a mistake, God called a message. Every odd stacked against him was secretly building his perspective, sharpening his voice, and positioning him to be heard by millions. Chosen one, are you starting to see that the parts of your story that seemed like setbacks were actually setups for something eternal? You are not waiting on the move of God. The move is already happening inside of you. Every puzzle piece is clicking into place. The patterns are becoming visible. What once felt random now feels divinely orchestrated. You're not losing your mind. You're aligning with your mission. You are not behind. You are right on time. And what's coming next will not only make sense of your past, it will give purpose to others who are still searching for light. So trust it. Trust the discomfort. Trust the shift. Trust the questions, and trust the quiet voice within you that keeps repeating, "It's time," because it is. The fog is lifting. The answers are here. And your next step isn't just a choice. It's a divine response to a holy calling. The pattern of your life has never been random. Every encounter, every heartbreak, every detour was stitched together with holy precision. You may have felt overlooked or misplaced at times, but the truth is, God has been deliberately shaping you behind the scenes. The timing of your awakening is not late, it is exact. Psalm 139 verse 16 declares, All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. That means even your delays were designed. What you once called setbacks were sacred appointments in disguise. But ask yourself this: what if the very things you once wished away were actually the proof that you were chosen? What if the questions you asked in private were the exact ones God had already answered through your path? Could it be that you've been walking in divine alignment without even knowing it? And the truth is, you've always sensed there was more, even when you couldn't articulate it. Something deep within you whispered that your life carried weight. That whisper wasn't a dream. It was a divine signal echoing through your spirit. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were marked for impact. That's why your path has been so unusual, your growth so internal. The cocoon phase is ending now. The emergence is here. When we look at the journey of Chadwick Boseman, we see this principle in motion. Long before the world knew him as the Black Panther, he was silently fighting private battles, facing illness while filming movies that inspired millions. He didn't announce his pain, he poured it into his purpose. And that's exactly what chosen ones do. They don't wait for comfort to obey the call. They rise in spite of the storm, knowing that obedience is the bridge to legacy. So the question is, are you willing to rise in spite of the weight you're carrying? Or have you been waiting for life to get easier before stepping into who you already are? Galatians 6:9 urges us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." If your life has felt like a prolonged wait, that's because heaven has been growing something too big to be rushed. The soil of your life has been nurturing roots that run deep, and now the harvest is near. What was once hidden is about to be seen. You might still wonder, but why me? Why was I born into struggle, misunderstanding, or rejection? Because your story was never about fitting in. It was about breaking cycles. You were sent to bring change, to shift atmospheres, to carry light into places where others were too afraid to go. Like Malala Yousafzai, who was born into a society that silenced girls, yet found her voice through persecution and became a global symbol of courage. Her origin didn't disqualify her, it defined her. The same is true for you. If you really pause and reflect, could your pain have been a classroom? Could the rejection have been redirection? Could your unanswered prayers have been preparation in disguise? 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." This isn't just poetic, it's prophetic. You carry something royal. Your life is evidence of God's presence on earth. Your pain has given you access to wisdom. Your tears have watered the seeds of discernment, and your silence has become a sanctuary where God speaks clearest. So now that you're beginning to see the divine thread, what will you do with it? Will you continue to walk as if you're still unsure, or will you start speaking, acting, and deciding like the anointed one you are? What seemed like random pain was sacred preparation, and now the pattern is becoming clear. The reason you couldn't settle for mediocrity, the reason normality never satisfied you, is because you were never created to operate on common frequency. You are not here to follow trends. You are here to start waves. Look at Howard Schultz, the visionary behind Starbucks. Born in public housing surrounded by poverty, he used his struggle not as an excuse, but as a blueprint. He envisioned a world that hadn't yet materialized and brought it to life through vision and perseverance. That same visionary DNA runs through you. What you're carrying is not only for you, it's for generations you haven't met yet. Isaiah 46:10 reminds us, "I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times what is still to come. My purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please." If God already saw the end of your story and still chose you to live it, then nothing, no pain, no rejection, no delay, can cancel what has been divinely appointed. And here's the ultimate question. Are you willing to believe in the version of you that God already knows? Are you ready to shed the story others projected onto you and fully embody the masterpiece God has always seen? So, step forward, not with timid curiosity, but with divine boldness. The world needs what you've been carrying in silence. The gifts, the insight, the healing energy. You're not just releasing them for your own sake. You are lighting the path for others who are still trapped in their own questions. And when you rise, they will rise too. This is not just a turning point in your life. It's a turning point for every soul your life will touch. You are not merely stepping into your purpose. You are becoming a lighthouse in a stormy world. And every storm you survived was proof that you were built to stand. The time of questioning is fading. The time of revealing is now. Keep walking forward. You've waited long enough. The world has waited long enough. Now it's time to shine. 7 days, just 7 rotations of the earth. Can such a short stretch of time really contain the magnitude of what God has planned for you? And yet, it can. Because when divine timing activates, the impossible becomes instant. What if the very thing you've been praying for is now just days away? What if heaven has already signed off on the miracle, and all that's left is for time to catch up with what God has already decided? 2. Peter 3:8 says, "With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." This reminds us that God's clock doesn't tick like ours. 7 days in the natural can equal a divine lifetime of preparation converging into a single manifestation. You're not waiting on the blessing, it's waiting for you to be ready. And now the readiness is complete. So ask yourself, how would you live if you knew transformation was guaranteed in 1 week? Would you walk differently, speak more boldly, release your fears without hesitation? Because your preparation isn't about effort anymore. It's about alignment. The shift has already begun. Even in the secular world, we've seen this principle play out. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her job as a news anchor because she was told she was unfit for television. She could have retreated in defeat. Instead, in a short span of time, her entire life turned around. What seemed like a career-ending moment became the door to her global influence. Chosen one, could your rejection be the divine countdown in disguise? Habakkuk 2:3 declares, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. You've waited, you've wept." But heaven never forgot. The countdown isn't just marking time, it's announcing the fulfillment of destiny. These next 7 days are sacred. They are not to be rushed, but to be reverenced. Each hour is a final polish on what's about to be revealed. And what is coming is not small. It's not a minor adjustment or a subtle change in mood. This is full-scale transformation. But why now? Why you? And why this exact moment in your life? Perhaps it's because God has watched you survive storms that would have destroyed others. He saw the nights you stayed faithful while feeling forgotten. He witnessed you show kindness when bitterness would have been easier. He heard the prayers you whispered in your loneliness and counted every silent tear. You didn't just survive the waiting season, you were refined by it. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." You have stood the test. And now, the reward is no longer a distant dream. It's crossing into your now. Have you ever considered that your greatest struggle may have been the birthplace of your greatest strength? That what tried to crush you was secretly crafting your character? Your endurance wasn't wasted. It was recorded. Each trial left behind not just scars, but sacred imprints of power. You didn't just overcome, you transformed. Take a look at Demi Lovato. Her public struggles with mental health and addiction were deep and painful, broadcast for the world to see. But instead of allowing them to define her, she used those experiences as fuel to become a beacon of advocacy, healing, and authenticity. That's the mark of the chosen, the ones who don't just heal, but who help others heal too. Romans 5:3-4 reminds us, we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. You carry that hope now, the hope that doesn't tremble in the face of uncertainty, but stands tall, knowing that destiny is no longer delayed. It is being delivered. This isn't just about walking into better circumstances. It's about stepping into a whole new timeline, a version of life that aligns with your soul's highest frequency. Can you feel the old shell cracking? The fears you once bowed to no longer have the same grip. The voices of limitation have gone quiet. What's rising now is your true self, stronger, wiser, bolder, and rooted in divine authority. Think of Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast of our time. When she chose to step back from competition to prioritize her mental health, the world watched in shock. But what the world called retreat was actually revelation. She reminded us that true power lies in knowing when to rest and when to rise. You too are in that divine pivot. You're not backing down. You're rising in a new way, with balance, with depth, with purpose. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? The new is not coming. It's already beginning to rise." And the question now isn't, will it happen? The question is, will you trust what's unfolding even when you don't fully see it yet? Let the old fall away. Let the doubts dissolve. You no longer need to carry the weight of what was. The pain, the patterns, the limiting beliefs, they have served their purpose. Now it's time to embrace the new blueprint that's being handed to you from heaven's scroll. The shift isn't a possibility, it's a promise. So how do you prepare for divine transformation in just 7 days? You align. You let go of fear. You speak with clarity. You walk in expectancy. Because what's coming is not just a change, it's your confirmation. The countdown has started. The clock is not ticking toward pressure, but toward promise. The shift is not subtle, it's seismic. And at the end of these 7 days, you won't just witness a new chapter, you will embody a new identity. You will no longer be the version of yourself that merely endured. You will be the version that fully reigns. You're not waiting anymore. You're walking straight into it. You've been walking through fire, through tests that seemed unending, through seasons that stripped you down to your very core. But have you noticed? You're still here. You're still standing. And that's not by accident. It's by anointing. The trials weren't just meant to test you. They were meant to transform you. And now the transformation is complete. 1 Peter 5:10 assures us, "And the God of all grace, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast." That restoration is already in motion. You are no longer in testing, you are in transition. The shadows you've walked through were not dead ends, they were tunnels. And at the end of this tunnel is the light of your calling, burning brighter than ever. But can you see it? Can you feel it stirring within you? That sacred readiness, that quiet sense of purpose finally rising to the surface. What if everything you've survived was God's way of proving to you that you were never fragile, only unfinished? What if you were never being punished, but prepared? When Viola Davis was young, she lived in poverty so extreme that rats ran through her home and hunger followed her to school. But she didn't let her beginnings define her ending. She used those early battles to cultivate the resilience that would later propel her to an Academy Award, a platform, and a purpose greater than fame, the courage to tell the truth. You too have earned your voice through hardship. You didn't just live through pain, you listened to it. And now, it's time to speak, to move, to rise. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." Not just survivors, not just fighters, more than conquerors. That's what your scars say about you. They are not signs of defeat. They are seals of divine qualification. And the same God who saw you through the furnace is the same God calling you forward now, saying, "Step out. You're ready." So what's holding you back? Is it the voice of self-doubt echoing from old wounds? Or is it the fear of stepping into something bigger than what you've known? What if the hesitation you feel isn't a warning? It's a threshold. And you're standing on it right now, trembling not because you're weak, but because your spirit recognizes the sacred shift. As God prepares to elevate you, you're being asked to do one thing: prepare, not through panic, not through performance, but through presence. Make space, clear the noise, remove what's been dimming your light. Hebrews 12:1 encourages us, "Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." What have you been carrying that it's finally time to put down? Think of Brendan Fraser. After years of being cast aside by the very industry he helped shape, he disappeared from the spotlight, but he didn't stop growing. He healed, matured, waited, and when the world was ready, he returned not as the actor he once was, but as a man transformed, with depth, humility, and wisdom etched into every word he spoke. That kind of comeback doesn't come from ambition, it comes from alignment. Are you willing to align, even when it requires releasing the version of you that once felt safe? You may not feel fully ready, but readiness isn't perfection, it's willingness, and that's all God needs. Isaiah 30:21 promises, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" That voice is still speaking, that guidance is still flowing, but it requires stillness, not struggle, surrender, not striving. So ask yourself, what will it take for you to believe you're enough for this moment? Not next year, not once you feel more prepared, but now. What would happen if you trusted that God has already placed within you the exact tools you need for this next level? This is your moment of divine rebirth. The old shell is cracking, the one that held your doubt, your pain, your limitations, and from it emerges the version of you that was always there, hidden beneath survival mode. The version that breathes freely, the version that leads boldly, the version that says yes without needing all the answers. And that version, that's the one the world has been waiting for. Ephesians 4:1 says, "Live a life worthy of the calling you have received." That doesn't mean earning your worth. It means recognizing that you're already equipped. You've always carried this divine blueprint inside you. Even when you felt lost, your soul was still aligned. Even in silence, your calling was speaking. Look at Zendaya, a quiet powerhouse who never forced her fame but let it unfold. She didn't rush her purpose. She cultivated it, choosing integrity over popularity, substance over spectacle. And now, she's not just successful, she's impactful. That's the energy you're stepping into now. Quiet confidence, unshakable grounding, a presence that doesn't need permission. You are not just stepping into a dream, you are stepping into a destiny that was spoken over your life before the foundation of the earth. This is not ambition, this is alignment. You are not chasing the light, you are the light. And it's time to let it shine with full authority. The mark of the chosen has always been upon you. It's the reason you felt different. It's the reason your battles were fiercer. And it's the reason your victory will be louder. You've been prepared in silence so you can move in power. There is no going back. There is only going forward. You're not who you were yesterday, and you'll never be that version again. So what does it truly mean to step into your power? Is it fame? Is it control? Is it rising above others? No, it's something far more sacred. Stepping into your power is not about domination, but divine participation. It is the moment you stop seeing yourself as merely a survivor of circumstance and begin to move as a co-creator with God. Luke 10:19 reminds us, "I have given you authority to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." That authority doesn't shout, it radiates. It doesn't need to prove itself, it simply is. But here's the question you must now face. Do you believe that God's power is not just for others, but is already within you? You've spent so long looking outward for signs, waiting for confirmation, asking for evidence that you were meant for more. But what if the sign was always in you? What if every time you comforted someone, listened when others wouldn't, carried burdens no one saw, that was your authority at work? You've already been operating in divine power. You just didn't always know it. When we look at the life of LeBron James, we see more than just athletic excellence. We see someone who understood early that his gift was not just for the court. From building schools for underserved youth to using his influence to shape culture, he chose to use his platform as a pulpit, not for ego, but for impact. That's what divine power looks like. Stewardship over showmanship. So ask yourself, how will you steward what you've been given? 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." That means your power is never meant to oppress, it is meant to uplift. It is compassion paired with clarity. It's boldness wrapped in humility. It's standing firm, not for attention, but because the truth inside you can no longer be silenced. As this new version of you rises, so will the energy around you. People may not even know what changed. They'll just feel it. They'll feel your peace in rooms that once held chaos. They'll sense your stability in storms. They'll turn to you, not because you have all the answers, but because you walk in a light that makes the darkness nervous. And what if this power isn't something you grow into, but something you remember, something you've always had, but were too distracted, too afraid, or too broken to recognize? John 14:12 declares, "Whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." Greater things. That's not a metaphor. That's a mandate. Jesus didn't just call you to admire him. He called you to continue his work. And that means the authority he walked in has been extended to you, not to elevate your name, but to bring heaven closer to earth through your life. Look at Amanda Gorman, the young poet who stood before the nation, her voice trembling but powerful. She wasn't the loudest, she wasn't the oldest, but she spoke with the clarity of someone who had found her calling and dared to own it. That's power. The kind that doesn't wait for permission. The kind that doesn't shrink for comfort. The kind that shakes the atmosphere simply by standing in its truth. Philippians 4:13 assures us, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." That strength isn't just to survive hard seasons, it's to shift them. Your presence was designed to change environments, not adapt to dysfunction. The chosen aren't just lights in the world, they are the spark that starts revival. So what will you do now that you know this power has been waiting for your full attention? Will you keep hiding behind humility that's really fear, or will you step out as the full expression of the divine potential God placed in you? Stepping into your power is not arrogance, it's obedience. It's saying yes to the version of you that's always been written in heaven's blueprint. The version that leads, loves, heals, speaks, and shines, not for applause, but because the world is darker without you fully awake. And yes, people will notice. They will sense the shift. Some will be drawn closer to your light, and others may distance themselves because they don't know how to handle your authenticity. That's okay. Not everyone was meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some were just part of your preparation. You've carried the mark of the chosen your whole life. It's why you felt things more deeply, why you couldn't ignore injustice, why you had a longing for something more, even when others were content with less. That mark isn't a burden, it's your confirmation. The world has long confused true success with surface-level applause, bank balances, trophies, likes, status. But deep within your soul, haven't you always known there's something more, something higher, calling your name? That's because your success was never meant to be measured in material gain. It was meant to be measured in spiritual elevation. Colossians 3:2 reminds us, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." This isn't just a suggestion, it's your compass. What's unfolding now is not about gaining the world, it's about gaining alignment with heaven. So let me ask you, have you been chasing someone else's definition of success while your soul longed for something deeper? God is not just bringing a change in your life, He's birthing a new level of consciousness within you. This divine shift is a sacred invitation to rise into spiritual clarity, emotional maturity, and powerful divine purpose. You're being invited to stop reaching outward and start expanding inward, because the wealth that's coming isn't currency, it's capacity. The shift is in how you see, how you hear, how you speak, how you lead. And yes, it's already begun. Look at the life of Morgan Freeman. For years, he was overlooked, dismissed, and told that success would never come. But he didn't chase popularity, he chased preparation. When his moment finally came, he stepped into it with gravity and grace, because he had been spiritually prepared to carry what others would have dropped. The same is true for you. This isn't about arrival, it's about ascension. Proverbs 3:13-14 says, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold." Your spirit is rising into a wealth that the world cannot quantify. It's the kind of wealth that flows from wisdom, from peace, from divine presence. And as it rises, your entire experience of life will shift. What once stressed you will now empower you. What once confused you will now clarify your vision. Because the highest form of abundance is clarity of purpose. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to no longer crave validation from the world, because you already feel seen by God? This transformation isn't theoretical. In just 7 days, the inner shift will start to manifest in your outer reality. The energy around you will change. Doors that were sealed will open. Connections that once felt forced will flow naturally. And suddenly, you'll realize you're not the same person who entered this week. You've ascended, not by effort, but by alignment. Isaiah 60:22 declares, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." This is that time. It's not far away, it's now. Your soul knew it before your mind could comprehend it, and now the pieces are falling into place. The life you felt was just out of reach is becoming your reality, not because you forced it, but because you became it. So how do you prepare? You let go of what no longer resonates. You unclench your grip on the things you thought you needed, and you open your hands to what heaven is pouring in. As your soul ascends, your desires will evolve. Fame won't tempt you the way it used to. Approval will no longer seduce you. Instead, your heart will crave intimacy with God, clarity of mission, and a life filled with peace and purpose. When we look at someone like Greta Thunberg, we see a young woman whose strength was not in age or resources, but in conviction. She stood in truth, even when the world mocked her, and yet her voice sparked a global awakening. That's what happens when you operate from spirit instead of ego. Your presence begins to ripple through reality in ways no one expects. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." God is not just starting something, He's finishing what He began. Every moment of doubt, every silent cry, every delay was part of the preparation. And now, the final seal is being placed on your breakthrough. And yes, you felt the sting of rejection, the sting of being misunderstood, passed over, unseen. You've watched others get the spotlight while you stayed in the shadows. But that was never punishment. It was positioning. God was hiding you until the appointed time. And that time is now. Psalm 118:22 proclaims, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. You, the one they dismissed, are the one God is about to elevate, and not out of vengeance, but out of divine orchestration. What was once rejection will now be revelation. The very people who didn't understand you will now see clearly. You were set apart, not set aside." So here's the question. Can you embrace your purpose without the need for applause? Can you rise even if no one claps? Because now that your light is shining, the world cannot ignore it. You're not looking for acceptance anymore. It's looking for you. As the divine timeline shifts, your spiritual and creative capacities are activating at full force. You'll begin to feel energy moving through your body like a current of inspiration. Your hands will feel more capable. Your thoughts will sharpen. Your voice will carry weight. Why? Because the power that was once scattered is now concentrated. Look at the journey of Tyler Mitchell, the first black photographer to shoot a Vogue cover in the magazine's 125-year history. He didn't follow the path others carved. He carved his own, with vision, boldness, and humility. That's the level of creativity and spiritual confidence you are being invited into. Your uniqueness isn't a flaw, it's your fingerprint in God's design. 1 Corinthians 2:10 says, "These are the things God has revealed to us by His Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God." Your gifts are not just hobbies, they are holy. Your creativity is a form of prophecy. Your voice is a vessel for deliverance. Your ideas are not random, they are divine assignments. You are not merely stepping into change, you are stepping into transcendence. The old identity is dissolving. The old narrative is fading. The version of you who doubted, dimmed their light, and questioned their worth is gone. What remains is a soul on fire, aligned with heaven, unshakable in its clarity and courage. The truth has been revealed, and once truth arrives, it cannot be unseen. You've come too far, endured too much, and grown too deep to ever return to a lesser version of yourself. So now that your eyes are open, what will you do with this clarity? What shifts when you finally realize that everything, the pain, the delay, the detours, was not punishment, but preparation? John 8:32 tells us, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." That freedom is not a theory anymore, it's your current reality. And your next step is alignment. Have you noticed how everything you once clung to for identity is losing its grip? That the old labels, expectations, and roles no longer fit the shape of your evolving spirit. That's not confusion, it's divine realignment. It's your soul finally remembering its original assignment. God isn't asking you to create your purpose. He's asking you to remember it. When Beyoncé was still a rising artist, she faced rejection, setbacks, and industry politics, but she didn't allow those experiences to define her worth or her path. Instead, she aligned herself with something deeper, her inner truth, her God-given gift, and her calling to uplift and empower. What she built wasn't fame, it was foundation. The same is being offered to you now, not a platform built on applause, but a path built on purpose. Proverbs 3:5-6 urges us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Submission doesn't mean weakness, it means trust. Trust that God knows where he's leading you. Trust that you're not too late. Trust that your purpose hasn't passed you by. It's meeting you right here, and yet alignment requires a letting go. Can you release the doubts that have become familiar? Can you silence the internal voice that still whispers, "You're not enough"? Because you were never created to fit into a box of expectation. You were created to shift the world around you by walking in divine truth. The deeper you align with God's plan, the more effortlessly your life begins to flow. Have you ever noticed how resistance fades when you stop fighting what's inside of you and start embracing it instead? Ephesians 2:10 declares, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." That's not theory, it's your assignment. And that assignment is being activated now. This next season isn't about trying harder, it's about flowing deeper. The resistance you once felt wasn't about failure, it was about misalignment. And now that your spirit is syncing with your calling, everything is about to shift. Think about Trevor Noah, born during apartheid in South Africa, labeled illegal simply for existing, yet he transformed his unique identity into a bridge between cultures and voices. He didn't conform, he rose. And you too are being invited to stop fitting in and start standing out, not in rebellion, but in divine resonance. In the coming days, your divine identity will be made undeniable. You will no longer wonder who you are, you will remember. You'll wake up one morning, not just feeling different, but being different. The mirror will reflect more than a face, it will reflect a mission. And the lies that once chained you, "I'm not ready, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough," will fall off like dead skin. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." That is your truth. You belong to no label, no judgment, no past mistake. You belong to the Creator who formed you with intentional fire and whispered a mission into your very soul. Your life isn't a series of random events, it's a divine equation. And finally, the answer is becoming clear. Why you faced what you faced, why you didn't fit in, why the doors didn't open when you begged for them to. It's all part of the equation that now solves into clarity, strength, and boldness. But here's the most important question. Now that you know who you are, will you live like it? Oprah Winfrey once said, "When you know better, you do better. But when you know who you are, you walk differently. You speak from purpose, you breathe with intention, you no longer perform, you proclaim." And now, you're being called to do exactly that. Romans 8:14 tells us, "For those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God." That means your guidance isn't external, it's internal. You are no longer wandering, you are being led. The path isn't just forming beneath your feet, it's rising to meet your faith. The truth about your divine identity is this: you were never created to be small, you were never created to be silent. You were created to carry a frequency the world has never heard before, and now it's time to let it ring. As you walk into this new season, expect the old to fall away effortlessly. Expect relationships to shift, perspectives to evolve, and opportunities to align with supernatural precision. You are no longer attracting from lack, you're drawing from truth, and truth magnetizes everything that belongs to it. This revelation will ignite a holy fire within you. You'll no longer settle, you'll no longer shrink, you'll no longer seek permission to be what God has already declared you to be, because you've crossed a spiritual threshold and there's no going back. The chains you carried, chains of insecurity, fear, shame, are ready to fall. And not because you finally became strong, but because you finally stopped pretending to be weak. The truth has always been there. Now you're ready to live it. The future ahead of you is not small, predictable, or safe. It is divine, vast, and waiting to be claimed. Can you feel it? The edges of your current reality stretching, pushing you to step beyond what has felt familiar but no longer fulfills you. That pressure is not from the world, it's from heaven. God is expanding your capacity and inviting you to walk through the doorway of destiny. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That future is not distant, it is knocking right now. So what's been holding you back? Is it fear of failure or fear of success? Is it the echo of someone else's voice telling you to play it safe? Or the weight of your own doubts whispering that maybe you're not ready yet? Let's be honest, for years you've lived under a ceiling that God never placed over you. That ceiling was constructed by fear, past pain, and false identities. But God has come to shatter the ceiling, not to raise it. And now, He's inviting you to breathe the air of freedom. Real freedom, the kind that doesn't depend on external permission, but on internal surrender. You can see this truth reflected in the life of Taraji P. Henson. She didn't begin her breakout career until her 30s, a single mother with little support and no shortcuts. But she didn't let timing or statistics stop her. She stepped forward with faith, and God met her on the other side of her boldness. What she stepped into was not just opportunity, it was ordination. And that same ordination is waiting for you. The question is, are you willing to let go of your excuses and step into your divine next? Mark 10:27 declares, "With man this is impossible, but not with God. All things are possible with God." What if the only thing standing between you and the breakthrough is your decision to believe that God meant what He said? Breaking free from your limitations doesn't mean the road will be without challenge. It means the chains no longer define the journey. You're not walking in circles anymore. You are walking in covenant. You're stepping into a future that was authored in eternity and whispered into your soul long before you took your first breath. As the fog lifts and the path becomes clear, your vision will begin to shift. What once felt like missed chances will reveal themselves as divine redirections. What once felt like closed doors will now be understood as sacred protection. God wasn't punishing you, He was positioning you. And now you're standing at the threshold of everything that has been waiting for you. Galatians 5:1 reminds us, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." The slavery of limitation, the slavery of waiting, the slavery of fear. All of it ends here. You've waited long enough. The moment to act is no longer someday, it's today. Think of Ava DuVernay, who didn't direct her first feature film until the age of 32, and became the first black woman to direct a film nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. She refused to be limited by societal expectations or timelines. She didn't wait for the right time, she moved when the calling was clear. And now her work is not just creative, it's prophetic. That same anointing is upon you to stop waiting and start building, creating, moving, declaring. Ask yourself, how much longer will you delay what God has already declared? What would happen if you treated this moment like the door to your destiny? Isaiah 61 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You are not waiting for the light. You are the light. The only thing left is for you to arise, to move boldly, even if the details aren't clear yet. God doesn't need you to understand everything. He just needs your willingness. You may have told yourself, "I'll move when I'm ready," but God is saying, you're ready when you move. The faith you need will meet you on the road, not before you take the first step. The confirmation you crave will appear as you move in obedience, not as a prerequisite for comfort. You've been equipped with more than you realize. Heaven did not send you into this world underprepared. The strength, the wisdom, the vision, the endurance. It's already inside you, hidden beneath layers of hesitation. But now, the time for hiding is over. 2 Timothy 1:6 encourages us, "Fan into flame the gift of God which is in you." That gift is not sleeping, it's simmering, waiting to erupt in the fullness of purpose. This is not a suggestion, it's a summons, a divine instruction to stop pacing and start pursuing. The breakthrough you've prayed for is not delayed, it's waiting for your participation. As you begin to move, everything will begin to respond. Relationships will come into alignment, resources will flow, your body, mind and spirit will synchronize with a level of energy and clarity you haven't felt in years. And it won't be coincidence, it will be confirmation. Look at Simu Liu, who spent years auditioning in obscurity and even considered giving up. Then he was cast as Marvel's first Asian superhero, changing representation for generations. He didn't wait for certainty. He prepared in obscurity, and when the call came, he was ready. That's your story too. Every obscure moment has been sacred preparation for sudden elevation. So this is it, the end of delay, the beginning of destiny. No more waiting for the right time. The time is now. The call has already been made. The door is already unlocked. God is not asking you to be fearless. He's asking you to be faithful. Your breakthrough doesn't need more time. It needs you, moving. Now, as you take that courageous step of faith, don't be surprised when the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Doors you couldn't budge before will swing wide open. Conversations you never imagined will suddenly find you. Resources, connections, and clarity all will align when obedience becomes your response to God's call. Deuteronomy 28, 1-2 promises, "If you fully obey the Lord your God, all these blessings will come on you and accompany you." Obedience isn't about striving, it's about trusting, and trust is the currency of the miraculous. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if everything you've been praying for is already prepared, and it's just waiting on your first step? For far too long, hesitation has stolen opportunities that belong to you. Doubt has disguised itself as wisdom, and fear has dressed itself in logic. But that season is ending. You no longer need another confirmation. You need courage, because God is not asking for your perfection. He's asking for your participation. And the moment you act, heaven responds. You've seen this pattern in the life of Misty Copeland. Once told she didn't have the right body for ballet, she faced rejection and ridicule, but she stepped out anyway. Bold, unsure, but obedient to her gift. Today, she's the first African-American principal ballerina at the American Ballet Theatre. Her leap of faith didn't just change her life, it redefined possibility for others. That's the power of action, and your leap will carry the same generational impact. Psalm 37:23 says, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him." So, don't fear where your feet are going. Trust the one who guides them. You're not stepping into the unknown. You're stepping into alignment. You're stepping into what was written for you before time began. But there's one more layer of breakthrough that often goes overlooked, a spiritual key many avoid because it feels too heavy, too painful, or too costly. That key is forgiveness. And here's the truth, you cannot walk fully into the future while dragging the chains of the past. Matthew 6:14 reminds us, "For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you." This is not just a command, it's an invitation to freedom, to healing, to wholeness. The resentment you've been carrying, the bitterness that you've tried to justify, it's not protecting you, it's poisoning you, and the only antidote is forgiveness. But let's be honest, forgiveness doesn't come easy, especially when the wounds run deep. Maybe you were betrayed, abandoned, lied to. Maybe someone left you when you needed them most. Forgiving them doesn't mean they were right. It doesn't mean you weren't hurt. It simply means you're choosing healing over hostility. You're choosing freedom over fixation. And that choice will change your life. Think of Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, yet when released, he didn't emerge with vengeance. He emerged with vision. He led his nation not through revenge, but through reconciliation. Because forgiveness wasn't weakness, it was power. And that same power is being offered to you. Ephesians 4:31-32 instructs, "Get rid of all bitterness, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." That bitterness has been quietly corroding your peace, your creativity, your clarity. It's time to release it. And as you do, your heart will finally have space for the blessings that have been waiting to land. Because unforgiveness blocks flow. It slows down divine momentum. It clouds vision. But when you forgive, truly forgive, heaven's winds return to your sails. You breathe deeper. You walk lighter. And the future no longer feels far. It feels present. So, what are you still holding on to? Whose name still stirs anger in your heart? Who do you need to release? Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Mark 11:25 says, "When you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." This isn't transactional, it's transformational. You don't forgive to earn love. You forgive because you've already been loved in spite of your own flaws. And now you pass that love forward. As the chains begin to fall, expect to feel different. You'll wake up without the weight. You'll see your reflection not through past pain, but through present purpose. You'll start hearing God more clearly, because the static of bitterness has been cleared from your spiritual frequency. You've waited for a breakthrough. You've prayed for open doors. But now, God is showing you that the key isn't external, it's internal. Forgiveness is the door, obedience is the step, and freedom is the reward. So take that step, let it all go. Move forward, not just with faith, but with forgiveness, because the next chapter of your life requires both. And this time, you won't miss it. And now, as this sacred message reaches its final breath, may your spirit feel the confirmation it has longed for. The Great Awakening is not coming. It has already begun. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are walking in one. The peace, abundance, and love you've prayed for are not distant. They are rising within you right now. Romans 13:11 reminds us, "The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed." Chosen one, your hour is here. You are no longer bound by yesterday. The limitations, the doubts, the fear, they are falling away like old skin. The new chapter ahead of you is not built on striving, but on surrender. It is not about becoming. It is about remembering who God created you to be before the world tried to convince you otherwise. So step forward, not as someone hoping to be chosen, but as someone who knows they already are. Thank you from the depths of my heart for walking this journey with me. Your presence here, your open heart, and your courage to receive what the Spirit is revealing. It means more than you know. Whether you've shown support through watching, sharing, praying, or donating through the Super Thanks feature, please hear this clearly. I am deeply grateful. Your generosity helps keep this message moving through the world. But even if you never give a single cent, your energy, your faith, your light, they are everything. You are valued, you are seen, you are loved. If this message has stirred something within you, if you feel the awakening taking root in your spirit, I invite you to share a super thanks as a token of alignment and blessing. But most importantly, stay connected to the truth that has been spoken over you. And now I speak life over you. I speak favor over you. May God bless you with the courage to rise, the wisdom to discern, and the strength to walk boldly in your purpose. May peace settle into your bones like never before. And may joy overflow in your heart like a well that never runs dry. The old is over, the new has begun. Walk in it fully, fearlessly, faithfully. You are the chosen one, and your time is now.